Hi friends, welcome to your 50-minute Pilates toning circle routine. If you don't know what a toning circle is, it's this. It's got lots of different names in the Pilates world. Sometimes it's called a magic circle, it can be called a fitness circle, but it's a piece of small Pilates equipment, resistance-based, and it's really good for toning. But more importantly, it's really good for helping you understand the connection between your inner thighs, your pelvic floor, and your lower abdominals as well. Fascially, they blend together. So it's really important that you're aware of that connection in Pilates, and this can be a really good way of helping bring that awareness to your, this can be a really useful way to build that awareness in your body to that connection. So you can do this routine without the toning circle, or if you've got a cushion or an overball at home, you can substitute as well. It's just, again, to give you that connection between the inner thighs. So feel free to substitute or do the whole thing without. If you did want to buy a toning circle, they're relatively inexpensive. I can link where I got this one. So yeah, so if you have your fitness circle, grab it. Let's get going. Good, so we're going to start in relaxation position. And then the thing with the fitness circle to remember is, although we're using it to tone some of the muscles in our body, we are never sort of gripping or forcing anything. It's always just that sense of activation. So I want you to remember that as we work through the session. So we're just going to bring the circle between our inner thighs. Now, you will probably have to be a little bit wider than hip distance for this to allow for that. The pads of the circle are just in between the thighs, just underneath the knees, not on the knees. And like I say, you'll be a little bit wider than hip distance. You'll have a little bit of tension on that circle, so you'll already feel your inner thighs working. And then you're going to bring your awareness to the rest of your body. So again, it's the same thing. It's the back of the head, the ribs, and the back of the pelvis nice and heavy into the mat here. Check in with the feet. So you might feel that the feet are kind of wanting to roll outwards. So you're going to work against that. So you're going to bring a little bit of resistance on where you can feel until you feel the feet flat on the mat. So the base of that big toe out to the little toe and then back to the heel. Feel that connection in the mat, and then just check in on the pelvis, because again, that might have changed a little bit, the alignment of the pelvis. So you might feel that you might be kind of tucking under or more kind of tilting forward. So think of releasing your tailbone. You can put your hands on your hips and then bring those hip bones to a point where they feel nice and level. So it will be a little bit of work, but really good for training, like I say, that awareness and that connection to the muscles of the sort of inner thighs and the lower abs, the pelvic floor. So arms just lengthen down by your side. We're just going to start with some gentle squeezes. So again, think about, instead of, I hate using the word squeeze, but think about maybe level 1 all the way up to level 10. We're going to work through a little combination of those different levels as we kind of draw the thighs together to work and the adductor muscles using the circle. So we're just going to start to think about our breathing first of all. So holding those connections, just take a little set of breaths into the sides and backs of the ribs and then release. Keep that connection, and then again breathing in nice and full to the sides and backs of the ribs and then release. And then you're going to keep working with that, but this time as you release, we're going to bring a little connection and a little activation through the inner thighs to press in on that circle. So breathing into the ribs. As you exhale, press your inner thighs into the pads of the circle, bring on a little bit of tension, and then release. Okay, so we're breathing in to prepare, we're breathing out to draw the inner thighs together, pressing in on that circle. You'll feel the inner thighs connect, and you're going to bring your awareness to that pelvis. You're going to keep that tailbone nice and lengthened on the mat. You're just going to think of keeping the spine connected to the floor, and you're just working those inner thighs nice and gently. Think of that kind of level 1 upwards. You're just bringing enough activation on to bring the inner thighs in towards one another, and you're controlling that as the thighs move back away. So we're coming in to activate, and then we're just releasing out. Keep the base of the big toe down on that floor. So watch for, sense for the feet rolling, no feet rolling. We're just working the inner thighs here. So good. And you will definitely feel like once you're done here, you will have felt the inner thighs work. Last 2. And then last one, hold in tiny little pulses here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Keep lengthening the tailbone. 3, 2, 1. If you're pressing too hard and release, the tailbone will probably want to tuck under. So that's a little kind of thing to watch out for. Good, sticking with this inner thigh connection, the base of the big toe down to the mat, we're going to come into spine curls. So breathing out, little connection on that inner thigh, on the circle, and just your normal spine curl. You're just doing it with a little bit more awareness through the inner thighs. Think of the base of that big toe, staying connected to the mat. Release the pelvis. You might feel the legs move away from one another. Squeeze in, and then you're going to roll all the way up. Keep that connection to the circle. Soften in the usual way, bringing yourself back down. And as you release to neutral, just release out on the circle. Breathe out. Bring the inner thighs together. Tuck that tailbone. Roll all the way through the spine. Normal spine curl. Keep that sense of inner thigh connection as you bring the spine back down to the mat. Release to neutral and then allow the thighs just to widen. Same again. We've got 2 more. Good. I feel like they're definitely working, the inner thighs. Release to neutral, just releasing on the circle, and then again, just that activation. Keep the base of that big toe, keep nice and grounded through the feet. Rolling through that spine nice and smooth to the tips of the shoulder blades, neck nice and free. Soften, land that spine all the way back down, release to neutral, allow the thighs to move away from one another. Last one here, breathe out. We're going to hold here, so you'll definitely get another sense of that inner thigh connection here. We're going to pulse in on our circle, holding our spine curl. So we're going to pulse in here for 10, for 9, for 8, for 7. Keep lengthening. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold here. You're going to lift and lower your heels. So keep that connection. Think of the level. We're maybe at like a kind of level 6 or 7 here with the circle. We're lifting and lowering the heels. We're staying nice and open through the hips. The back line here is working hard for us. Glutes, hamstrings, the core to hold us in that nice neutral, stable position of the spine. And then of course the inner thighs, pelvic floor, lower abdominals connecting. Good. Last 3. Nice and smooth. Last 2. Last one, staying up here, spine curl back down. I kept my heels up there, but you kept your heels up, put them down. And then releasing to neutral from there. Beautiful work. Take the circle out for a little second. You might just need to readjust. You will feel those inner thighs working, which is all good. We're going to come into hip rolls here. So we're going to put the circle back in to the inner thighs. Good to just take it out, give the thighs a little release. Same thing, bring on that little connection to the inner thighs, soles of the feet connected to that floor, and then breathe out center. You're going to stack both legs. So we're in our double knee fold now, okay? Shins parallel to the mat, breathing out. We're going to just do a normal spine curl, but keep that connection. Think of the levels in the connection to the ring. So you're not got the legs wide, you've got tension on. And you're going to the other side. Think of the abdominals pulling back as your side body, lower body reaches away. Back to center. Have the arms out for support. Breathe out. Connect to the inner thighs. So tension on the circle as much as you need to hold that connection to the inner thighs. Try not to let the feet work. So you might feel that the feet want to kind of cramp up a little bit here. Try and keep a softness in the feet. Try and connect to those oblique muscles to really get this movement from the mid back. Reach around the side of the body and back in. Last one, breathing out, shoulders soft on the mat. And then all the way back in, holding here. We're going to take the circle out and we're going to bring it down to place it just above the ankle bones, okay? So the pads are just above the ankle bones. We're going to come into the 100, all right? So bring the arms back down to the side. Little bit of tension will be wider than hip distance. All good. Release the tailbone. Breathing in as you exhale. Chin to chest, curling up. I'm going to extend my legs. I'm going to bring tension on and just into the 100. If this isn't working for you, keep the circle between the inner thighs, just above the knees at the quads, and then you could take your 100 in this position. Good. So breathing. Focusing on that connection through the inner thighs. Watch for any rolling in the thighs. Good. Drawing those abdominals down, strong in the tummy. 3, 2, 1. Hold little pulses on the legs for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo. Knees in, head down, take the circle out. Intense. Good. Bring the feet to the floor, just a little rock from side to side. Beautiful work. Good. We're going to come to do a bleak twist. So you're going to stack one knee, pop the pad just in front of the thigh, at the top of the thigh, above the knee, not on the knee, always remember that. And then just bring your elbow to the pad. You're going to bring yourself into a rotation here, which is all good. So just holding in that rotation, nice and wide through the arms, level off that pelvis, and you're just going to pulse. So we're just going to rotate and release. And back. So it's a little press in on the circle. Think opposite rib to opposite hip, shin is parallel. Breathe it out. Rotate from the spine, from the upper back. 3, 2, and 1. Releasing off, foot down, other side. So stack the knee, you're just going to trap the circle here, nice and open and wide. Should maybe have done it to the side first. Good. So it's not a big, we're not curling up and over, we're holding ourselves in a twist essentially, and then we're pulsing for 1, 2, we're rotating and pulsing. 3, 4, 5, 6, so good. 8, rib to hip, and 10. I mean, if you cannot feel your obliques from doing that, woo, and then just take a little rest from there. Good job. We're going to come into roll-ups. Legs long. Bring in the circle overhead. Connect your inner thighs. Hands on the pads. We're going to breathe out. Bring the circle up overhead. Exhale. Rolling through the spine. Normal roll-up. Reaching beyond the toes. Just bringing yourself back down. So with the circle, you want to have a little bit of activation. So imagine that the arms are pressing in on that circle. So the upper back is working a little bit. So we're not just kind of holding the circle willy-nilly. There is a little bit of engagement through the arms and the shoulders here. Abdominals to roll you forward. So good, guys. We've got 2 more. Good. Try not to grip as well with the fingers. So try and keep light touch with the circle. Last one. Beautiful work. Squeezing. Now roll forward. Restack your spine up high on those sit bones. Pulse in on the circle here with the hands for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Releasing there. So good. Come into lie on your side. A little bit of side line. Now you're going to bring the circle just to the ankle. Trap it. So you're going to the opposite edge of your mat. And then bring your top leg on top. Just lengthen down. Use your side lying, but a little bit more work here. And then we're just going to do a little bit of stability work here. So breathing out to center. We're just going to paint little rainbows with our leg. So we're going to take the leg down to tap, behind the circle to tap, and then back forward. So we're clearing the circle. We're not actually touching the circle as our leg moves. We're just lifting, finding that length, finding that connection, pressing down with the inside, the underneath leg to support you, support the circle. Last 2. Last 1. So good. From here, bring your leg underneath to connect to the circle. So it's on the sort of pad, inside edge on the pad. I'm going to go into double leg lift. So breathing out, we're just going to do a little set of 4. So 4, exhale. So really press out on the circle, working the outer edges of the thighs now. 3, control the legs. Last 1. And down. Beautiful work. We're going to switch to our other side. Good, so same thing, just trap the circle, take your time with it, because if you are new to using the circle, it can be a bit fiddly as well. Oh, that's the wrong leg. That would have been super fiddly. So leg down, it's just above the ankle bone on the pad, and then you can use the top leg to give you a little hand until you get into place. And then just think of stacking all the usual things for sideline. We're fully stacked through the joints, and then top hand for support, connect to that center, so make sure you're nice and neutral, and then you're just gonna lift and lower, and notice whether like one side might be slightly easier than the other. This side feels slightly easier for me. Good, tap in, make sure you're lifting that leg to lower to clear the circle. Stay connected. Last 3 here. So good. Last 1. And finishing here. Beautiful work. Bring the leg up. Stick it underneath to connect to the pad. Just above the ankle bone. Double leg lift. Breathe out. and down. Press out through both sides of the legs. Good. 3, 2, last one. And down. Beautiful work. Good job. From there, coming into prone for a little set of extensions. So again, you can just see the variety that using something, a little piece of equipment gives you. It's quite nice just to challenge yourself a little bit more, kind of spice up things from just doing the mat work without any equipment. It's quite fun as well. And again, you can just learn so many things about your body. We're going to bring the circle. We're just going to do little extensions. So the circle is at a diagonal. You're going to hold on to outside edges of the circle, and then the head is not fully down on the mat. There's a little bit of extension. Just bring the legs slightly wider than hip distance, turn out, and then you're going to breathe to center, pubic bone heavy, and then just using a little bit of connection, you can draw the circle in towards you a little bit as you extend up in between the arms. Breathe out, lengthen down. Same again, breathing in, breathing out. A little bit of centering, connection to that core, and then lengthen as you lift. So don't just come up, lengthen forward, bringing the head down, breathing out, center, lift your heart forward, little extension. So it's kind of like cobra, a bit of an assisted cobra. Last one, heart forward, lengthen and lift. My eye gaze is just to the top of the mat, shoulder blades are down the back. And then releasing down from there. Beautiful work. Letting the circle go. Take a little rest position here. Bum to heels. Breathing out. Big breath in. Big breath out. Walking your hands back in. And you are done with your quick little 15-minute Pilates routine with the toning circle. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you back on your mat soon.